Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh Kang, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel comics that began in the year 2000 that was really meant to reimagine Marvel and its characters for the modern 21st century. So characters like Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, they all got new titles that took place in the early 2000s and started fresh in like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate X-Men, yada yada yada. And every episode Josh and I talk about the original Ultimate Universe. We like pick a batch of issues and we just talk about what we like about the stories, what we might not like so much, what's held up, what hasn't aged so well, and just the overall impact that we feel that Ultimate Marvel has had on Marvel, its characters, the comics, and other media like TV, movies, etc. So, this episode, we are talking about a pretty special issue here. We're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man Annual #1, featuring Kitty Pryde. So, this is a pretty big one, not just like in like the series Ultimate Spider-Man, but I also just feel generally like in the Ultimate Universe, like this leaves an impact beyond Ultimate Marvel, because this is the issue really where Spider-Man and Kitty Pryde start dating. So this is like crazy. This is where the idea comes from with a lot of people that Kitty Pryde and Peter Parker have dated.
You know, I follow a couple comic fan pages, and a lot of them go, here's a list of all of Spider-Man's girlfriends over the last almost 100 years now. I think it's just now 80 years, 80 or 60-ish years. And
Yeah, it's like not even 65 years.
yeah, I can't believe I don't. But it's been a long time, and one of them, they always have Kitty Pryde has dated Spider-Man. I'm like, no, they didn't. But they did date. Really, they did have like an actual serious and mostly healthy relationship in the Ultimate comics. It's one of those things from Ultimates that just kind of crossed over into mainstream media and has become popular. The other one I'm thinking of is people assume Wanda and Pietro have an Essentials relationship, which they do not, but they do in Ultimates. And it's just one of those
Yeah.
things that's carried on over to people's perceptions of the character.
For better or worse, there are some relationships that were popularized, or I guess made infamous from Ultimate and carried over into like even the most casual comic fans' knowledge of like, oh hey, like Kitty Pryde and Spider-Man, or God forbid, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, yikes. So like, yeah, this is a very big deal for that reason. And I saw the post you were talking about, Josh, where it's like everyone Peter Parker has ever dated. I'll be honest, so many of those, I'm like, these were first dates. There's a good chunk of them where I'm like, that never happened. I swear to God, I don't think he ever dated Emma Frost.
He has in another universe.
Again, and like it counts so many alternate universe relationships where I'm like, you guys are really misrepresenting how many people Spider-Man has actually been with. If it's like we're not qualifying with, oh yeah, this is like Peter Parker and all these other alternate universes too. We're just saying, oh yeah, Spider-Man's been with all these people. I'm like, yeah, but in which universes, in which continuity? You can't just
Yeah.
misrepresent it acting as if this has all been 616 Spider-Man hooking up with these women. That's just
Yeah,
false
no.
advertisement.
No. I mean, yeah, yes, I agree with you. But it's also like, in an alternate universe, I've been with people I haven't been with in this universe. That's a bad example. It's because we don't even. But like,
I mean,
it's
me too, man. I'm sure there are timelines and universes where, I got together with Rachel McAdams. I don't know.
whoa. That's really specific. Why Rachel
I-
McAdams?
That's like one of the names I could think of. I don't know. Maybe Jessica Alba.
There's no way you're getting with Jessica Alba.
In
They're
another
too old for you.
universe, you're saying there's no universe. Just picture it. Just one universe. What if there's just one universe where I get together with Jessica Alba?
I was gonna say I do like Rachel McAdams. I think she's a very talented actress with a very
Mm.
generic, but it's a very memorable name, and I do like that Sam Raimi has admitted, yeah, she's a great actress, and I kind of wasted her in the MCU, so I wrote her another movie just to highlight her as an actress.
It's good of him to admit his failings and to actually work to make up for that. So good on you, Sam Raimi. I haven't seen. That's the movie that came out with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, right?
But so I don't know. It's the one where she's on a desert island
Okay.
and she kills a
Well,
pig.
regardless, Oh my gosh, you always have to bring up a pig in our conversations in some way or form or another.
In what way have I ever talked about a pig before?
All right, what about the pig that would swim for the kids at the San Antonio Zoo?
It's in Austin, but what's the big deal about it? It's a cute story.
That's a crazy story. They would get too buff, and so they'd have to replace it with a new pig.
Yes.
That's insane. Anyways,
I don't think it's that insane.
all that to say, Ultimate Spider-Man Annual is quite a big deal for Peter Parker and Kitty Pryde starting to date in the Ultimate Universe. Before we get into that, though, I think, Josh, you wanted to read off some comments that we've been getting on our social media?
Yes, our fan mail, as I call it, because that is how fan mail works now.
Yes. Yeah, fan mail is really like we don't get emails just as much as we want people to email us and send us actual fan mail. We really just get the occasional like comment on our posts. We've been getting a lot of stuff from friend of the pod, Cameron Hamilton, mainly calling Josh out, as I have been doing,
Which
calling
is
Josh
fake
out for
news.
his horn dogginess. Yeah, well, let me just read some of the artful things he's been saying, Josh. One of them being he's never beating the allegations, which is true. You are never beating those allegations.
Allegations, schmalegations.
Well put. Well said. That's a good rebuttal. Allegations,
Thank you.
schmalegations.
If Cancer or Schmancer is a charity, why can't allegations, schmalegations be a charity?
Yeah, are we donating to you, the anti-Horndog fund?
I think we should donate to my lawsuit against you guys who are going to sue me for being a horn dog, and I go, these are schmalegations.
Cameron also said in one of his comments, the mental gymnastics that Josh has to tell himself he is not a horn dog is hysterical. He quotes you saying, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but not a horn dog.
I am not a horn dog at all. Give me one example of how I am a horn dog.
What about you describing that alien as voluptuous?
That's a physical description that's accurate, not a horn dog.
Oh, so that's just a scientific, like, empirical study?
Yes, especially because the
Okay.
comic referenced it within a page. So,
It was not in the comic.
It wasn't the comic. The pips don't fit, as they say in the comic.
Yeah, they didn't say voluptuous, though.
A tomato potato is the same thing. Also, I found out recently someone else has been saying tomato potato.
Yeah, it's like not the most original thing you could have said, Josh.
I thought it was completely original, and it turns out Sacha Baron Cohen, the comedian, has been saying it since before I was born, and I'm like, that's
Damn.
copyrighted. You can't say that, Sacha Baron Cohen. I've been saying it before I even knew you were saying it.
Yeah, but he was saying it before you were born, so doesn't that kind of cancel out?
Yeah, but I didn't know he was saying it, so I should have said it.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. He said it first. He got you before you even came into this world.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron also says, Josh looking like a young Dick Grayson on the thinnest tightrope, but instead of falling into a circus net, below Josh is the horniest stuff imaginable.
That is slander, and it's not true.
I think you gotta give him at least credit for the creativity on that one.
Yeah.
Like, he really got you good.
I don't know if he got me good, but that was a very creative insult. I will give him that.
You got caught red.
I haven't been caught at all, because there's nothing to catch.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure there isn't,
I don't
buddy.
have them. Unlike some people, I don't have them cooties.
Yeah. Not yet, you don't. Allegedly, you don't have those cooties.
I will never have them cooties.
Yeah, so you say. But thank you, Cameron, for helping me out and calling Josh out on all his horn dog hypocrisy.
PSA, go to Planned Parenthood and get tested for cooties. They'll do it for free.
Yeah, you would know, wouldn't you? I bet you're getting tested on the daily.
No, it's just me doing a PSA for the public, because I am a man full of generic and hardcore love for my fellow man and the public, and I will do anything to serve them, because I am a lover, not a fighter, but not a horn dog.
You're never beating those allegations, man.
There are no allegations. Schmalegations, more like.
You're just gonna pretend that they don't exist. They're out there.
They don't
and they're
exist.
Alleged against you. Well, we also got plenty of talk on our a couple episodes we were talking about Northstar and comparing Northstar with Quicksilver and how Northstar is generally better than Quicksilver as a character, but also faster. We got some interesting, we got a lot of response to that one. Like, people were definitely into that conversation. There was some good stuff with, let's see, our friend Furious George on TikTok had a very detailed response talking about both Northstar and Quicksilver. He mentioned that Quicksilver only tops out at maybe Mach 5 or Mach 6. And Northstar's fastest that he dares to go, at least, is whatever is the safest for the atmosphere, because he technically could reach light speeds, but it would kill everyone on the planet. Also, even though Chuck Austin's run is almost universally bad in every way, the character work he puts in for Northstar and Juggernaut is top tier. I forget the issue number, but one of my favorite Jean Paul moments is when he's running a freshly manifested mutant kid from one end of the country to the other to get him to a special containment unit that will stabilize his mutation and protect others from his increasingly dangerous powers. And he can only fly so fast because the kid's not built to withstand the speeds he usually travels at, which is oh my gosh. Thank you, George, for that. That was such a incredibly insightful and detailed response about Northstar and what he can do.
You and I were briefly talking about this. He is a very controversial character, in my opinion, because people who know X-Men always have a thought about Northstar that contradicts the other person's thought. A lot of people like him, like me, but a lot of people don't like him because they feel he's too much of a stereotype and they don't like the way he was introduced.
Oh, because he's gay? Is that what you're saying,
Because
Josh?
it is because he's gay. Not that a gay character is wrong, but a lot of people, including gay people, have told me they don't like the way he was introduced as a character they felt was a walking stereotype of a gay character. I have not read his original work, the original work he was in, but I've read some of the others, and I don't think he is a walking stereotype. I think he's a very much a unique character, and I do like him. But some people have complained that they don't like the fact that he has pointed ears, and the first openly gay Marvel character is looks like a fairy. They have reached out, told me about that.
I mean, I see what they mean there. I kind of get that, but at the same time, yeah, it's not good optics, but the character of Northstar himself doesn't feel like a stereotype of a gay man. He does
No,
feel like he is an actual well-written character. And maybe some
he's a
people
very
don't like him too because I know the character can be written to be a little arrogant or snooty or kind of closed off sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like that is part of his charm sometimes, especially if you read Leo Williams's X Factor from Krakoa.
oh yeah, loved him in Krakoa.
So there's a lot of stuff to be said about Northstar.
He's also when on the issues where he's a teacher, he's also very good at teaching. I will say that. You see
Yeah.
him just grading papers. You see him holding back students. He goes, "I don't trust you, so I'm going to hold you back and until you're ready," which is the responsible thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good teacher and he's a good leader too. If you've seen him lead any teams like X Factor or even some X-Men teams on occasion or Alpha Flight or things like that.
Yeah.
Also, you see someone commented saying when we're comparing speeds of Quicksilver and Northstar, saying Quicksilver is Marvel's Flash, but it should really be Northstar. This person said, unlike with DC, Marvel's speed metric is carried by people like Thor and Silver Surfer, and not Quicksilver, which makes sense, I guess, from a cosmic standpoint.
Yeah.
They soar through the spaceways at incredible speeds, and I can see how that would beat out just anyone running on land speed like Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I guess Marvel just doesn't have this need to have a speed centric core of the universe as opposed to DC, which has multiple Flashes and they just reboot the universe every once in a while and cause disruptions in the space time continuum. But I still do find it funny that Marvel's premier speedster is not even their fastest character, not even their fastest speed character.
Yeah, it is pretty funny, especially because he goes up against the Flash in the Marvel versus DC crossover in the 90s and gets beaten. So it's you should not be sending him up against DC's premier speedster. It's gonna get whooped.
Yeah, I think even Northstar would get whooped. I do like the fact that Quicksilver is fully evolved to be a speedster. He has super strength in his bottom half of his torso, or bottom half of his body, because he's a mutant, or he was a mutant. So his legs have super strength, so he could run super fast.
That's pretty cool. I do like that. That's a cool aspect of the character. We also got a comment from our friend Furious George, another comment, this time relating to Quicksilver, which was pretty insightful, saying, Now, all that said, I'm also a huge Quicksilver fan and really hate that Marvel pushes him to the side so often in favor of his sister. Because, yes, he is an asshole, but he has such potential and nobody ever allows him to showcase it. He's connected to so many corners of the Marvel Universe and can fit in anywhere. Son of Magneto, former mutant, ex-husband to Crystal of the Inhumans. His daughter was the first Inhuman mutant hybrid. He's worked for the High Evolutionary, he's been a member of the Avengers, etc. But everyone wants to just look at that kind of glorious potential and let it sit there unused, I guess. And I'm like, you raise a good point there.
I feel writers don't know what to do with him, and the one thing they've decided to do with him is they go like, he has daddy issues. He sees Magneto as this father who's trying to impress. He has this weird relationship with a High Evolutionary. He also gets cucked by Johnny.
Yeah, I think the thing about Quicksilver is like he is also outshined a lot by his sister, the Scarlet Witch. I think it's the same
Yeah.
thing with like if you look at like Magic and Colossus and the X-Men. Magic has like blown up so much in the past like 10, 15 years and she's become so popular and it's kind of like outshone Colossus because by contrast you're like, all right, at first glance it doesn't seem like the character's as interesting because Quicksilver is like, oh, he's super fast, or Colossus is like, oh, he's super strong. But the characters are a lot more than their powers or how it would first appear. It's just I don't think too many creatives and like writers have actually delved into that in recent years for the characters and have wanted to delve into who these characters really are beyond all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Pietro and Victor should start a anti-Human Torch club because they're both two guys that had been cucked by Johnny.
I think there should
Uh,
be like a really big club of people, like just characters throughout the Marvel universe that have been cucked by the Human Torch.
Peter Parker, because I have a feeling MJ's going to get together with the Human Torch at one point. At this point,
Oh God, I hope not. Let's not
yeah.
cause that drama. Let's not bring that into the world. There is that issue of Hickman's FF, which is one of my favorite issues of that run, which is it's a single issue about the Human Torch and Spider-Man living together.
Mm-hmm.
And just like all the hassles that Johnny puts Peter through. And at the very end, like Johnny has like thrown a house party in their apartment and you can see like MJ is there and she's dancing with Johnny. And I'm like, oh snap, Peter, you better watch out. Johnny's gonna snatch up your ex.
I'm okay. I think at the
So,
rate it's going, the relationship's toxic enough. Why not? Let's go for it. And after the end, where Peter and Johnny fight, Peter is like, "This is a line you shouldn't have crossed." Pietro comes out of the corner and super speeds Peter to Latveria, where Doctor Doom and Peter goes like, "Don't you want revenge, Spider-Man? I could give it to you. Just take the deal."
wow, we should pitch this to Marvel. Call it like the Legion of Cuckery. I don't know, the Legion of the Cucked.
It should become like Team Aqua or Team Water. Get it? It's the opposite of fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I think Pietro, like, he's kind of been like a punching bag for a while, and honestly, because he's a punching bag, like, honestly, you get some interesting things out of that character that Marvel sometimes just doesn't know what to do with, and I'm like, there's so much potential, as Curious George said, right there.
Furious George.
Furious George, tomato potato.
Uh-huh. I think Sacha Baron Cohen
Uh-huh.
said it best when he said tomato potato.
No, 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 no. We're
All
not
right, well,
acknowledging
you
Sacha
better hit
Baron
him with that
Cohen.
lawsuit. Hit him with that cease and desist order.
That's right, I will.
Well, I think that's enough fun for now. You want to just dive into this annual, Josh?
Yeah, annual, this is Bendis. It's Spider-Man Annual #1. It's famously, as we said earlier, the issue where Kitty Pryde gets together with Peter. The art's really nice. It's like Spider-Man. It's like kind of like this weird, romantic comedy-esque art and issue with superheroes, because you see like Spider-Man doing his regular Ultimate Spider-Man pose near the side of a building or a chimney, and out comes the chimney is Kitty Pryde phasing right through, and they're just having this meet cute.
Yeah, and that's the Mark Bagley cover. But inside in the interiors, you get Mark Brooks on art. And this is like earlier Mark Brooks, like mid 2000s Mark Brooks. And I love Mark Brooks, I think, in like all his eras, but you can tell like he's really polished up and refined his work since then. And now he's like mainly doing cover work where everything definitely seems like, I don't know, it's so impressive at how like statuesque and like epic a lot of his work looks now. And by comparison, the artwork here is really good, but it's also like very fun, like teen comedy, almost
Yeah.
cartoony esque.
Yeah. If I was to write a romantic comedy with a meet cute, and it's people with, and it just stars people with superpowers, and not the weird movie that's okay with Uma Thurman, I would make it like this art, like with this one character using his powers, going down a building, and another character just coming out of the building with her powers.
You would make it like this.
Yes, it's a good
Well,
meet cute idea.
yeah. And it starts off with Kitty Pryde being like, I am not in the mood for this. And there's a splash page of her in swords and sorcery garb. She's being faced down by like a dragon. And you see Nightcrawler and Colossus coming to her rescue. And Kurt is telling her to like call him like Legolas, and they
Legolas.
are LARPing in the danger room. They are live action role playing right here, and you could tell this was Kurt's idea because he was having so much fun with this.
And I'm glad Colossus likes. I'm really sad it's ruined later on, but I really love this buddy duo with Kurt and Colossus. But they're just trying to be each other's wingmen, even though Kurt doesn't
Yeah.
like gay people, and they're just having fun together, and they're just hanging out because they're the two weirdos in the X-Men who are kind of loners.
Yeah, it's fun to see them goofing around. I think it's also very classic 616 Nightcrawler. We saw this in an earlier story arc in Ultimate X-Men when he was like playing pirates with Angel in the danger room. And it's fun
Yeah.
to see like the fun-loving, like swashbuckling side of the character because Nightcrawler just gets ruined later on in Ultimate X-Men. So I just
Yeah.
want to enjoy him as he is here. Just the classic, just sweet, lovable, fun-loving character.
Also, as a person who missed the last few cuffing seasons, I totally get just you and the other single guys just hanging out together, doing nerd and geeky stuff because everyone else is coupled up. He used to hang out with Angel, but then Angel got with that bad influence in Horndog Dazzler, so it's just him and Colossus. I mean, Colossus has a partner too, but he goes to a different school, so he might as well be
Yeah.
single.
His boyfriend goes to a different school. You wouldn't know it. It's in Canada.
Yes, and Northstar's Canadian, so it makes it even
Yeah,
better.
so it works. Yeah.
Kitty doesn't, unfortunately like it. She's not having a fun time. So she goes like, I'm done with this, Kurt. I have to go do homework. I said that in quotes, which is code for I gotta wash my hair, which is code for I don't want to do this stuff. You're lame. But she goes like, it's really cute when you're a super dork. And Colossus taps Nightcrawler on the shoulder and goes, that's a good sign, yes? And I'm like, no, it's not. But good on you, Colossus, for being a nice guy.
I mean, yeah, it's nice of him to encourage Kurt, but also it's a good sign from Kitty because she does like geeks and nerds, so I'm sure she
Just
does
not
think it's
Kurt.
cute. Yeah, maybe not Kurt specifically, but we'll see. Other people. I wonder who it could
Yeah.
be who's also a nerd and a geek who features in this annual.
Yeah. Peter is facing
Anyways,
the Rhino. The Rhino.
the Reno.
The Reno, like it does remember Alexandra Petrie is her name. She's a columnist, a comedic columnist at the Washington Post, or she used to be, and she was into Star Wars, and her grandma bought her Kylo Ren helmet, and she was like, "Yes, the Kylo Ren helmet." No,
Oh my gosh,
the Kylo Reno. But
that's so funny.
yeah, is this the first time? I don't remember. It's been a while since we were at Ultimate Spider-Man. Is this the first time he's facing Ultimate Rhino?
Well, I don't think so, because if I'm right, let me just look this up just to be sure. Let's see. Yeah, no, his first appearance was in Ultimate Spider-Man number 28, but that was like a brief appearance where, like, at the very end, because it's the issue where like Peter's like running across town and trying to like avoid all these obstacles in his life so he can stop the Rhino downtown, like wrecking New York. And then he finds out at the very end that Iron Man stopped him, and he's like, what was the point?
Yeah. Well, he's facing Ultimate Rhino here. Ultimate Rhino is a little different from regular Rhino. Regular Rhino is a guy in a suit, which Ultimate Rhino is too. But it's a suit. He's trapped in the suit, and the suit gives him super strength. Ultimate Rhino very much is like an Iron Man-esque super mechanical suit. If you guys have watched the Amazing Spider-Man movie, it's kind of like that, though
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
I feel like this is like a pretty big inspiration though for the Paul Giamatti like Amazing Spider-Man 2 Rhino, although they go even heavier on the mech suit stuff in that movie.
Yeah. I believe it definitely is the inspiration. I've also heard the Rhino was a bad guy in that Craven the Hunter movie, and I'm like, what?
I'm never gonna watch it, so I guess I'll never know.
Yeah. Peter is just like Kitty, not having a fun time. And also, we should watch
Yeah,
it. We should watch it and review it for, as Brianna says, you shouldn't make fun of a movie until you watch it.
that's true. I'm not even gonna think about it though, let alone make fun of it. So
But you
I
just
don't
made
need to
fun of
watch
it.
it.
Oh,
I
you're
just
gonna
made
edit
fun of
that
the
part.
fact that I'm never gonna watch it.
Why? It's a Marvel movie, technically.
Is it though? Anyways, it is
Uh,
really interesting because yeah, Spider-Man and Kitty Pryde's story throughout this issue, they do like parallel each other. So it starts off with Kitty being, I am not in the mood for this and facing something. And now Peter's like, I am not in the mood for this and facing the Rhino on his way home.
it's a classic rom-com trope, or rom-com
Yeah, where
fanfic
they're
trope.
like facing like very different but similar circumstances, and then they come together and you kind of see like what they have in common and what makes them different too.
Yeah. Spider-Man swings away from a distance to see what's going on, and the army comes in to stop the Rhino, and Spider-Man jumps in because he doesn't want the Rhino to kill the army. That being said, like the Rhino is not in Spider-Man comics. He's a threat, but it's generally I feel rarely is he a threat that like you need to dedicate a whole issue to. He's kind of like a villain that is more of a side villain or a villain that Spider-Man just beats on the fly in most
Yeah,
comics.
because I feel like there are like one or two like good Rhino stories actually, but for the most part, he's not a like a major overarching storyline villain. He
Yeah,
is like
his
you spend maybe an issue, maybe two max on the character, and not much more else.
Yeah, he's a character you just beat. He's like a big henchman basically, and other times Spider-Man just beats him off swinging to another thing. And I kind of think the U.S. Army probably could take on Rhino. They could probably kick his butt. They have tanks, so Spider-Man jumps in to save him. But I'm like, they have tanks. Let them blow the Rhino away. Who cares? It's the Rhino.
Maybe he wants to avoid any collateral damage that comes from the Rhino clashing with tanks.
Yeah, but let the guard take him, the National Guard take him on. But Spider-Man jumps in. He does say, I admire the hydraulic engineering on this, and he rips out the power source that's powering the Rhino. And then the army goes,
Yeah.
oh, like, this was actually an army property. And I'm like, good on you, army. It's not S.H.I.E.L.D.'s fault for once.
Yeah, you can screw up too, and you can create monsters and supervillains. Be all you can be.
I think at this point though, unlike Shield, which just creates supervillains, this one is like we created the suit and someone stole it. But then the guy in
Yeah.
charge goes, "I want Spider-Man arrested and interrogated." Well, that's actually not the worst if they just interrogate and let him go. But Spider-Man swings away and they can't really catch him.
Yeah, it's like a classic thing of like he does this with the police all the time too, where it's like we need to bring you in for questioning, and he's like, "Yeah, no, bye," and swings
Yeah.
off because he's like, "Why would I want to talk to you about anything? No way, you're not gonna detain me."
Yeah, it's like capturing a cat.
Then we cut to Xavier's, and they're having like kind of a barbecue cookout where Kitty is sitting around and moping, and she's thinking like, "Oh, I'm a loser. I'm like the loser of the school," which is crazy because she also points out like Wolverine is right there, and I'm the loser, and I'm the outsider. And I'm like, this feels like, come on. I mean, this is like definitely like a teenager's mindset of like thinking you are a loser and you're like the misfit outsider when really you're not. Because in this case, I'm like, Dazzler would definitely be the one that doesn't fit in there out of everyone. I mean, Dazzler's in a coma now, but still.
The other thing I'm wondering is also like the big thing with Lose is that they feel isolated, and the thing is throughout this arc and the series, people keep talking and helping Kitty, and it's just
Yeah.
like no offense to Kitty, but she kind of made it difficult on herself by being with Bobby and making things a little awkward.
Well, I mean, he made it difficult too by using her as a placeholder and like still sending emails to Rogue being like, I still love you and I miss you, come back. So he kind of screwed up there.
Yes, but Kitty should know not to trust boys like Bobby. He's not an ice man.
Wow.
He's an ice boy. She needs a man, a
You
Spider-Man.
need to stop victim blaming.
I think at a certain point, she should have known better than to get together with that boy. That being said, I am in no position to talk because I gave money to my ex. So,
Yeah, so there you have it.
yeah, I gave her a bank account.
Oh
I
my
gave her a
god.
bank account. Yeah, I regret that.
Yeah. Kitty did not give Iceman that, so.
Yeah. Oh, that killed my credit.
I am sorry.
It's
I should not
okay.
laugh. But
No, it's funny.
yeah, Kitty's also like, and Bobby can't even pretend like he misses me. Meanwhile, we cut to Midtown High where Peter's again thinking the same thing as Kitty, being like, I'm the loser, I'm the outcast.
Yeah, but he's an actual loser.
Yeah, that's the thing though. He is the nerdy kid, and also even worse, he's Spider-Man, but he can't tell anyone. No one can know, and he even thinks about the movie they made off of him, and he's like, yep, I didn't get a dime off of that. Everyone at my school went to see it, and no one knows that I'm the real Spider-Man.
My bullies love that movie.
Flash Thompson is Spider-Man's biggest fan. Like, come on.
Have you ever watched The Miraculous Ladybug?
No, I haven't.
The big thing in that show, if you ever watch it, which you don't need to, it's a kid show, but someone at our college introduced me to it way back when, is that there's a character that has a crush on the superhero Ladybug who doesn't like him back, but the Ladybug's secret identity likes the guy, has a crush on the guy. It's complicated, but it just gives me that vibe for some reason.
I gotta check out this movie. What is it? The Miraculous Ladybug, you said?
It's a kids' TV show, so unfortunately, it's a long schlaw at times. But we all just watch it for that weird sexual tension between the two characters. Let's be honest.
Who is we here?
Oh, like people in general, and you and I.
I feel like it's you. No, not me. I've never even seen this show. You just told me about it for the first time.
You just agreed to watch it.
That was before you told me about the sexual tension between the characters.
Look, it's like the British Navy in like the 1700s. You don't need to give your explicit permission. If you're at the bar and says, I would like to go sailing, you give permission to the British press gang to grab you and throw you onto a ship. And you just gave consent to watch the show with me.
I did not.
Josh operates by 18th century Royal Navy rules. So, yes, tomato, potato. You agreed. Let's go sailing.
Add that to your list of red flags, Josh.
Let's go sailing. Let's go fight Napoleon.
I regret to inform you that he's dead.
We don't know that.
I saw his tomb.
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, in Paris.
Damn. Oh, I always wanted to see his tomb.
Well, there you go. He's dead.
Look, how do we know his body's in the tomb?
Listen, I'm not going to go check.
Yeah. Look, I don't know about you, but I've seen the Mummy movies. We could always bring back the Emperor.
Anyways, so Peter is also like thinking in his head about how he can't even have a girlfriend because he's putting her in danger. And right when he's thinking that, of course, MJ walks right by and he has to walk away because like it's just too painful for him. So I'm like, that's tough, buddy. That's a rough life there.
Peter, you shouldn't complain about not having a girlfriend. Most people in high school don't have a girlfriend. And you had a girlfriend for a while.
That's true. But I feel like high schoolers will always find a reason to complain if they don't have a girlfriend. Or even if they do have a girlfriend.
I did not complain in high school because I was aware that most people didn't have a girlfriend in high school.
Well, it's very mature of you.
Thank you.
I don't think a lot of kids were like that.
The one time I did get miffed about it was in college, but...
What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, what am I gonna do? Meanwhile, so Jean is with Kitty, and Jean's comforting Kitty, saying, you gotta let go of Bobby, he's bad for you. And I'm like, good on you, Jean. Maybe it's because you've made the same mistake with Wolverine, but she should stay away from that boy who would abuse her. And Bobby's a no-good kid at this point. He's compensating for something. He's not right in his head. He's a wee boy.
He's just a wee lad.
He's just a boy. She needs a man. Though also she's underage, so like don't.
Yeah, not like a legal adult, but...
Yeah, because Wolverine's right there, and he's definitely gonna sniff around if he thinks it's possible, unfortunately.
Ugh, yeah, with Ultimate Wolverine, that will happen.
Yeah, he kills kids.
Yeah, we saw that last time.
Jean goes, you gotta let go of Bobby. Kitty goes, I am. And Jean sees it in her head, and she goes like, you're screaming it out loud in your head, and she goes like, I miss Bobby. And then Kitty has this loud idea, and Jean goes, you can't do that. That's not appropriate. And she goes like, why? He's a good guy with powers. He's cute. I want to ask him out.
And she literally, first she's like, I like him so much. And then she's like, I love him so much. I'm like, all right, pump the brakes here. You haven't even gone on one date with this guy and you're already talking about how much you love him.
It reminds me of some people. They just fall in love way too quick when they shouldn't. Yep. And then they imagine like It's like, okay, you haven't been on one date with this person, and you're already imagining a life together.
Yeah, like that's nuts. Some people are definitely like that.
Sometimes it works out, but those are weird. I feel those are like, okay, but it would have worked out regardless, and it just happened that you have this mentality going in, and you just accidentally bumped into the right person that would have worked out regardless. But yeah, because I know someone's gonna go, well, my grandpa married my grandma for 80 years after they met once when they were 5, and I'm like, okay, those are exceptions.
Yeah, that's not
to the
the
rule.
same thing at all.
Yeah, those are exceptions.
But yeah, Kitty's like, he's a good guy. He doesn't go to our school. He's got powers too, like us. Like, this is rare. And I like him.
Yeah.
And so later, like, Peter is at home on his computer and he's reading like the old 2000s like message boards about like this fight that he had with the rhino recently, and he's getting like so trashed in the comments, and they're also calling him fat, which is like hilarious and crazy that like they just add that on there, because I'm like, okay, that's also totally false, but that's so funny that they just throw that in there for good measure.
If it makes him feel bad, it works. Doesn't matter if the cat's black or white. If it catches the mouse, it's a good cat.
Damn, so true, Josh.
Thank you. It doesn't matter if it's fat or not. If it makes it feel bad, it's a good insult.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's true.
It's like, have you seen The Whitest Kids You Know?
No, I haven't.
It's an old classic show, but there's a scene where Abraham Lincoln is someone interrupts Abraham Lincoln's rant at the theater and goes like, "You're talking about as can be, you fat ass." The whole point is to make him feel bad. And also, let's not forget, this is the 2000s, when Magneto got rejected by Lorna to join his brotherhood. He literally just called her a fat slut, so why not?
That's true. Yeah, in the 2000s, fat shaming, unfortunately, was a huge thing, and you see it so much in these comics. Anytime you want to make someone feel bad in these comics, they just keep calling them fat for no reason.
I think fat shaming is also like coming back into vogue.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, have you ever seen the way they on Reddit how they talk about the current president? They call him fat a lot.
There's so many more like important things you could use to like insult the president now, like than just saying fat. There's so many worse things about him.
It's also weird that we're going back to fat shaming when anti-fat drugs are a thing now. So
yeah, I'm like, that's bad enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Peter gets a call, and it's Kitty on the other end, but she hangs up almost immediately. And then Jean and Storm are like making fun of her on the other end, and then she's like, shut up. And then she calls him again. It's a really awkward like teenage exchange, and Bendis is really good at writing like awkward teenagers here, where she's awkwardly like trying to ask him out, but can't really get it out.
We've complained about Bendis, and I'll say this, both of us on average love Bendis, I feel. He's very good. Bendis talk gets a little annoying when everyone does it. Like you said, he's very good at like at moments when the characters should talk like that. He's very good at doing it. It's a very 2000s Mean Girls, Tina Fey trope where all the girls are like gathered around a single phone as one ass talks to a boy she likes for the first time. Though it's also a bit weird because Jean and Storm are both like 19 or 20. So I'm like, little weird. You guys are like sitting around the 16-year-old girl asking out a 16-year-old boy, but okay.
Well, I mean, it's like they're all living together. They're basically family. This is like them like making fun of their little sister who they're like encouraging to ask out a boy.
Also, I was kind of talking about this with you. So Kitty goes like, I could just ask out this guy and using information found on the computer. It's also interesting because back in when most people were people, you were with someone you met in school or college or work or whatever, or a club. And now we're at the point where Bendis, I'm not sure how much he did it on purpose. You could just use the internet to find your ideal mate and put in like specifications about what you want in a person. And with apps, it has gone even further than that. So this was a weird predictor of that, ironically. Not ironically.
Ideal mate? Jesus, man.
Whoa. Yes, people do that now. People have been doing it since then. You could just look up, I want someone who's 5'9" through 6'7", has like a job in finance, blue eyes, trust fund, and just see the results.
I mean, that's getting dangerously close to eugenics, but yeah, I do see what you're saying, that generally with the rise of like technology and the internet and computers and everything in the 2000s, they were already starting like online dating, and then now like with the dating apps, it feels like, this story is like, well, we know this guy, he's out there, why don't you like give him a call? So you look him up, hit him up, and ask him out. But yeah, it's really funny because Kitty's like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And he's like, "Oh, is there like an emergency? Do you need me? Is there another Wolverine problem? Because I don't want to get body swapped with Wolverine again." And she's like, "Can you meet me tomorrow?" And then he's like, "Yeah, with the X-Men." And she's like, no." And so they were like, "All right, let's meet after you're done with school. We'll meet outside your school, Peter, like after school tomorrow with no costumes."
It's Peter's idea to have no costumes.
Yeah, Peter's like, "Listen, no costumes." And she's like, "Yeah, no, I wouldn't have anyways." But he's like, "Yeah, just got to be careful because a lot of people have shown up in full costume to my high school."
Yeah. And afterwards, he Googles Kitty Pryde. He horn dogs it off, and he goes like, "Yeah, I could date her," which is like, "You nasty man."
He goggles her. That's the thing. He goes on Goggle, which is very clearly not Google. So what if it's the same font and the same color scheme? It's Goggle.
I don't know
But
why they
yeah,
do goggle. They make references to other stuff all the time, so why not? Why?
I don't know. I think it's just really funny. But yeah, he looks up the X-Men on Goggle Images and he makes a really pervy face when he looks at Kitty. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to know what happened later that night.
Ugh. But yeah, you're probably right. He goes like, "Yeah, I could see myself being with her."
I'm sure he's stocked up on tissues. I hope he did anyways. If what I think
Ugh.
happens, happened. I'm just saying.
He's a horn dog, and but the thing with Pete, it's also like, come on, she just asked you, and you're gonna say if you didn't like the way she looked, would you then go, "I thought about it, and no way, Jose, I'm done. No, we're not doing this. I looked up how you look like." That'd be a dick move. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad it went the other way because that would have been a
Yeah,
totally different story.
yeah.
But yeah, the next day, Kitty shows up to Peter's high school after school, and Peter's like, "You actually showed up?" And she's like, "Yeah, I said I was going to." And
Hmm.
she immediately is like, "Yeah, I hate everyone at this high school." And he's like, "Yeah, you would not like high school at all. This is pretty much what it's like." As they see bullies giving a nerd wedgies on the bus and everything.
Which is also odd because, like, Kitty, you've been to high school. You were a high schooler at a regular high school not too long ago. They go to the mall. They're eating corn dogs. Apparently, Kitty doesn't know what a corn dog is, and I was like, "There's no way you don't know what a corn dog is." And she goes like, "Once us mutants take over the world, we're gonna spare the corn dog inventor."
And Peter is legitimately like startled by this clear joke, and he's like, "What is that actually gonna happen?" I'm like, "Damn, Peter, that's so racist, so
Or hear me
anti-mutant
out.
of
Hear
you.
me out. It's serious. It shows and highlights the fact that mutants are a threat.
You're anti-mutant too."
I am anti-mutant. I was playing a video game and I had a
I
mutant
knew it.
uprising. Yeah. Look, the mutants have not behaved themselves well in this universe. Let's be perfectly fair. Other than Emma Frost and her gang, the mutants are kind of a dangerous threat.
The X-Men still work as superheroes.
They've put the world in danger multiple times. In the
They've
sixth
saved
one.
the world from danger multiple times.
After they place it in danger, it's them and S.H.I.E.L.D. that are the most dangerous forces in this universe.
I'll give you Shield, that's for sure. And some of the X-Men. I'll put like Wolverine and Professor X on that list.
Look, both Wolverine and Professor X would have gone to Jeffrey's Island.
Oh god. You mention that every time I bring them up.
Yes, because they're creepy. They're awful.
But anyways, this date is really well written. I think there's some fun conversation points, just the loneliness of being like a teen hero. And Peter and Kitty both talk about how they don't really have friends. And Peter even brings up like Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. And he's like, yeah, he was saying the same thing about how it's kind of just like a lonely existence. And it really is interesting. It's like, yeah, doing what they do at that age, it's got to be pretty isolating.
Which is a bit weird because, like, Kitty, you have Dazzler, you have Jean, you have Rogue, you have Storm.
Yeah, but like you were saying earlier, some of them are a few years older than her and they're all pretty different and they live in such close proximity. They probably feel more like family than like friends, and sometimes she just wants to get away from them.
She and Rogue share a boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're such good friends then. If you
Friends.
can share your boyfriend with each other, you're like sisters.
Yes, I mean, some people do that. When desperate times call for desperate measures, as they say. They live in New York.
Peter also explains why he doesn't like reveal his identity to Kitty because she doesn't really understand why he doesn't reveal that he's Spider-Man, but he's like, it endangers everyone around me, like my
Yeah.
aunt, and why I don't have a girlfriend anymore. And he's even like about to talk about MJ, but he does this is a really like relatable and like down to earth thing that he does when he stops talking for a second. He's like, never mind, I got a voice in my head telling me that like you're not going to care about this, which is a very like real like anxiety thing for a lot of people. And Kitty's like, no, I do care, like listen to the voice that tells you that I am going to care. So they really get in depth about like the Mary Jane situation, and Kitty explains her relationship with Bobby and about how it's even worse because they like live together.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see them kind of like open up with each other.
And she keeps going back to Bobby is the other problem.
Yeah, exactly. Even though she knows that like he's not right for her.
Yeah. They then go up the building, and
Yes.
Peter, sorry, I brain farted for a bit. So Peter shows her the skyline and goes, "That's the Triskelion where Fury lives." And Kitty goes, "He's a jerk," and goes, "Yeah, I know he's a jerk. I punched him once and knocked out his eye patch."
Yeah. And she's like, dang, that's awesome. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
such a good way to impress a girl on a first date. Say you punch Nick Fury so hard that it, like his eye patch fell off.
You know, Kitty says she loves geeks, but I have a feeling deep down she wants a bad boy, like Bobby.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah. Though to be fair, I'm gonna be honest, Nick Fury kind of has it coming.
Yeah, he definitely did. And like they are both 100% right. He is a tool.
Yeah. Kitty asks him, like, would you date someone with powers? And then she gets a little embarrassed, so she faces downstairs, and she goes, like, no, get a hold of yourself, faces back up, which is, like, I always find it really odd with Ultimate Kitty, like, because it makes sense that she could face down, because you're just going down. How do you get back up they're phasing, is what I'm wondering. Because that basically is just flying, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's been established since like Claremont's X-Men that Kitty could basically like float into
Fly?
the air by phasing.
Really? I just can't believe I never noticed
Yeah,
that. So she basically flies.
basically she could. She'd have to
Why
come
does she...
back down at a certain point.
Yes, but that's what all flying things do, except hummingbirds.
Yeah, so I don't know if she can do that for like long distances though. So
And it's really interesting because, spoilers, Kitty and Peter will break up because Peter is specifically looking for the person with powers to take that he doesn't have to protect.
yeah, but Peter's like, it wasn't like embarrassing at all. Like, I thought it was a really good point actually that you made. If I could date someone if they had powers, and you know, they
Yeah.
get really flirty, and then he's like, yeah, I'm eccentric, you're quirky. And she's like, is that French for something? And he calls her cute. And I'm like, oh, damn, it's happening.
It's a little too quick.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like the attraction has been there for a while.
Yeah, but maybe that's not a good. I don't know, man. Don't act on your horn dogginess. Go on a few dates. See if you guys match.
Well, I'm sure the Shocker actually agrees with you because before they can kiss, they hear a loud boom nearby.
Maybe the Shocker has a point.
Yeah. Peter gets into costume, and then Kitty's like, okay, I'll go with you. I can't get hurt because I literally phase through everything. So it's a really fun sequence of him swinging Kitty over to the disaster, which is, like I said before, the Shocker running around and like threatening people.
Yeah. It's also interesting because so they meet the Shocker, he's robbing a bank, he's running away, he shoots at Kitty, and it just goes through her, and I'm like, you know, the thing with Shock is that he has like electromagnetic shocking stuff. And I thought we just established that is the one thing you could do to hurt Kitty when she fought that ninja.
Yeah, they're playing fast and loose, I think, with the rules here, but she said she felt it at least because she was like, oh, that felt good. Can you do my back now? So maybe it just like doesn't feel the same as like when you're like in your physical form.
Yeah. But then
But
she then phases through his equipment, which destroys it. Like, Shocker is never like that big of a threat, but here in the Ultimate Universe, he's just a joke.
he is a running gag throughout the Ultimate Spider-Man run. Like he is made into a total joke in this, and I think it's a lot of fun. Spoilers, but he will get his revenge down the line. But yes, he is definitely there just when they want to dunk on someone. And this is also really fun because you can see like Kitty is very Spider-Man-esque. During the sequence, she's like immediately quipping. She's saying a lot of fun Spider-Man type style lines of dialogue. And it shows you like, yeah, these guys are perfect for each other. They have so much in common, honestly.
Yeah.
They have that same sense of humor. They're both smart, both a little nerdy, both very relatable, down to earth, everyman type characters.
And the thing is that you go, Bendis, I feel, have noticed the similarities between Kitty and Peter, but in the old series, you can't do that because, as you and I once talked about off, is Peter is aged up, is a lot older than Kitty in the 616 universe. But the difference is
Yeah.
that like if you read the comics now, you think they're the same age because they kind of stunted his physical growth basically. While Kitty has,
Yeah.
to a certain degree, has been allowed to grow and develop and mature, while Peter has been stuck to the point that Kitty and Peter are de facto the same age now. But in
Yeah.
Ultimates, you could just play with the idea that they always were closer in age, and you could just get them together because of their similarities. Though at times this kind of feels like, oh, Bendis, you're writing fanfic into canon in your own way.
Yeah. I mean, it's good, but yeah, it does seem like it had been like a fan fiction stewing in Bendis's mind for a while. Because like I
Yeah.
think so many creators love to like pair Kitty off with like their favorite characters or their self-insert too. But it does make sense in this universe because I'm like, yeah, they do have a lot in common. In this, they're both teenagers because, like, in the main universe, yeah, like we were saying, when Kitty first appeared, Peter had already, like, basically graduated college at that point. So it was a
Yeah.
big age gap. But yeah, it's interesting to see them explore that in this universe. And Spider-Man shows up too and helps web up the Shocker.
I'm after you, Shocker.
Get back here, Shocker!
Poor Shocker. Like, whenever he's, like, trying to do his thing, Spider-Man shows up and just beats him up. And one time the Shocker's kind of serious. Spider-Man gets a little too serious and tries to kill him.
Yeah.
I know it's another universe, but still.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Shocker. Some guys just can't catch a break.
I think he dies in the MCU, doesn't he? Ultra just kills him.
Yes. Oh, well, the first one does, and then a new Shocker is born from that.
And then Tom Holland still beats him up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Webs
Yeah.
him up to a bus.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Kitty introduces the Amazing Spider-Man to the crowd. Good on Spider-Man. He needs a prep man every once in a while. He needs someone to prep
Yeah.
him up. And
Yeah, exactly. Needs a good hype man. Needs someone to like market him a lot better. So people were
Yeah.
cheering and clapping, which is nice to see for a change. And they like swing away, and it's adorable. And like as they're parting ways, they like exchange an Indiana Jones reference, which is so nerdy, but also like fits perfectly for both of them. So it's so cool. I'm like, yep, I get it. These two geeks have so much in common.
Well, being into Indiana Jones is pretty mainstream. It's nothing special to have watched the
Hey,
Indiana
movie
Jones
references. When someone gets your movie references or TV references, like things just click, you know? That's how a bond is
Yeah,
formed over those
but
things.
everyone has watched Indiana Jones at this point.
Not everyone. I feel like, you know, as we're getting further and further away from it, fewer and fewer people have seen movies like that from like the 80s or before.
But this is still then. I will say though, I do like the relationship down the line because they do just spend a lot of time just quipping it back and forth, and it just works with these
Yeah.
two characters. They're two quippy people. They have a certain chemistry where they could just bounce off each other, which is why I really do like the Kitty Peter relationship going forward in
Yeah.
both X-Men and Spider-Man.
No, same here. They do have that rapport that really
Yeah.
works well for the characters.
Yeah.
So then the X-Jet shows up and just comes to take Kitty home. So they managed to make plans to do this again, despite both of their busy schedules, which I think also fits well for both of them because they're both superheroes saving the world. So they understand that like they're not always going to be able to make time for each other.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see they're like Saturday nights. And I'm like, see, you can make it work as long as you're both understanding and you're both kind of on the same page.
It is the thing, spoilers, that will spoilers, it is the thing that will eventually destroy the relationship, is that eventually she goes like, oh, Peter, you only wanted me because I'm so understanding and I fit your schedule and I'm a superhero in the end.
Yeah.
And if you had like a choice, you would have been with MJ, though, ironically. That would be the thing that gets them together is the thing that destroys the relationship.
Yeah, sadly. But for now, it's a beautiful thing because like there's a light coming down from the X-Jet, and then there's a big splash page of them sharing their first kiss under the light. It's like they're glowing. This splash page is so gorgeous.
I find it funny that Peter hasn't really thought too much of Kitty until now, and Kitty has this big crush on him, and she gets to kiss him in this romantic way. And it's like, some people just get their dreams, I guess, of kissing Spider-Man. Not that it's my dream, because it's not.
Right. No, of course it's not your dream. Wink, wink.
It's not my dream. I want to do it as Spider-Man. I want to go down from a building and that's more manly.
You want to do the famous upside down kiss?
I kind of do. I just want to know what it's like to just be upside down and swing from the, the building like that.
Yeah.
So do you.
I mean,
admit it.
I mean, I feel like, don't we all just want to be Spider-Man?
Yes, we all want them spider powers and to climb up walls. I would never be late to work if I lived in a
Yeah.
big city.
Well, what if you had to fight crime?
I'm not fighting crime. I'll do crime.
Okay. With great power comes zero responsibility.
With great power comes a lot of opportunities.
Uh-huh. For crime.
Tomato, potato.
Okay, Sacha Baron Cohen.
No.
But yeah, Peter then goes home and he's like, wow, I gotta like email her right away. I'm so excited. And then it turns out Kitty already emailed Peter. And she says like, we made Yahoo, which is so funny. Because I'm like, wow, that is very like early 2000s. Like they made Yahoo. That's like, who's reading Yahoo News?
It's free.
Yeah. So that's an advantage. So yeah, that about wraps it up for this episode. Any final thoughts, Josh?
Not a lot of final thoughts. I love it. It's very much a rom-com in a comic form. And I
Yeah.
really love the relationship they have. Well, the only kind of complaint, and I say this as someone who is a big fan of this issue, I've read it like 3 to 4 times, is that it does feel at times like a bit too fanficky at times, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's good that it worked out, but if this had been like a worse pairing or if this had been written like not as well, it would probably come off as like a fanfic.
Yeah.
But I think given like the characters and given the scenario and how it's written, it's very believable and honestly like makes sense and like a really
Yeah.
good pairing.
It's like they're two geeks that like each other. Peter likes someone who actually understands schedules and busyness and has powers. And Kitty kind of needed someone like Spider-Man who understands responsibility to his core.
Yeah, no,
In a way,
exactly.
Bobby doesn't yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully
At
he will,
least.
but not yet. Yeah.
Yeah, here's hoping. But yeah, that covers it for this time. Next time, we'll be talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. We're getting back to the main series, issues 86 through 90, the Silver
Nice.
Sable arc, which I'm very excited for. Until then, Josh,
Yeah.
where can our listeners contact us if they want to email us about our podcast, the comics we read, or anything comics related, or anything at all, really?
Ultimate Comics Podcast at gmail.com. That's comics plural, podcast singular, Ultimate Comics Podcast at gmail.com.
That is right. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Ultimate Comics Podcast. We have plenty of images from the comics we read on Instagram. We also post reels and TikToks and full episodes of this show on YouTube with video. Until next time, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Comics. Bye-bye.